In a Scottish hospital, a brief encounter in a staff changing room has spiralled into a landmark legal case, captivating the nation and costing hundreds of thousands of pounds. This is the employment tribunal of Nurse Sandie Peggie versus NHS Fife and her colleague, Dr. Beth Upton. At the heart of this complex case are two healthcare professionals, Sandie Peggie, an A&E nurse with 3 decades of service who holds gender-critical beliefs, the view that biological sex is immutable, and Dr. Beth Upton, a trans woman and fellow A&E medic who began their transition in 2022. The dispute began on Christmas Eve 2023. Nurse Peggie, experiencing a sudden menstrual period, went to the female changing room. There, she encountered Dr. Upton, who was undressing. What happened next is disputed. Peggie states she expressed her discomfort, saying she believed it was appropriate to refer to Beth as a man in that context due to biological sex. Dr. Upton described the encounter as a hate incident that left them feeling distressed and afraid. They subsequently filed a formal complaint. As a result, NHS Fife took disciplinary action. Sandie Peggie was placed on special leave and then formally suspended. While the suspension was later lifted, her shift patterns were restricted, measures she argues have harmed her career and well-being. This case quickly became a flashpoint in a national debate, pitting the protection of gender-critical beliefs against the rights of transgender individuals. Supporters of Peggie argue she was defending single-sex spaces, while critics see her actions as discriminatory. The tribunal that followed was extensive, over 20 days of evidence, more than 15 witnesses, and legal costs for NHS Fife alone exceeding hundreds of thousands. The case widened beyond the changing room incident, with Dr. Upton alleging past instances of unprofessional conduct by Peggie, including claims about patient care, allegations Peggie's legal team suggested were fabricated and retaliation. In a significant development, on the morning the tribunal resumed in July, NHS Fife cleared Sandie Peggie of all gross misconduct allegations from its internal disciplinary process. A verdict is not expected until November at the earliest. The panel must decide, on the balance of probabilities, if NHS Fife and Dr. Upton harassed Sandie Peggie or discriminated against her because of her beliefs. If Peggie wins, the course of action would likely be compensation for injury to feelings. Whatever the outcome, the judgment will be scrutinised for its implications on workplace policies, single-sex spaces, and the clash of protected beliefs in the UK. For now, a nurse, a doctor, and a health board await a decision that concludes a deeply personal conflict, but one that speaks to a much larger and ongoing national conversation